On this rainy afternoon I will tell you some stories about my Spartan-in-law SAMSON, also known as Sammy or INDICA SMUGGLER SLEW. So this dog was my former dog, an Irish Staffordshire Bull Terrier. The dogs that you see here are Patterdale Terriers, so it's a completely different breed, but have some similar characteristics in character. So I will give you some insight about my Spartan-in-law SAMSON, the white dog, that I will also display in this video. First off, as a pup, he was from half brother, half sister mating back on the Judas dog, which was both the son of Jocko and the grandson of Jocko at the same time. This dog was already a Houdini in the litter. He was the only one with, of the males with the complete Jocko aesthetics, so to say, very white dog. And also there was a female, his sister, who also had the darker ears that Jocko had. But he had a little bit of dots on the ears, one ear more than the other, of course. So he was the Houdini. He already escaped quite a few times out of the litter. When we were watching him interact as a pup also with other visitors, he was the only one that was not attacking the hairs of a girl that went there to puppy play. So he was at that moment already very people friendly, and also I liked him because he had a phenotype supporting the genotype, being a very much a Jocko type of dog. That being said, then we got him as a pup. He was a very nice, relaxed type of pup, but he went on a lot earlier than his litter mate. So at age 10 months he was already engaged in a fight because there was a stray dog, so a dog without a leash, attacking me and my pup, youngster dog, and he grabbed him at a throat hold. And then another thing that was so people friendly occurred. He really did not want to let go of the dog. First the dog tried to fight him, of course, but once he felt the pain and that little youngster would not let go, he became a little bit more in panic mode. But SAMSON was relaxed. He kept hold of the dog. But the very funny thing was, when I tried to release him and I didn't have a brake stick, as soon as my finger came closer to the mouth of my pup, I found out that he released a little bit because he did not want to hurt my fingers, although he really wanted to grip and hold the dog that attacked him, of course, in a throat hold. So that way, and I would never recommend this, I was able to feel away centimeter by centimeter the grip he had on the throat of the attacking dog. The attacking dog was a lurcher type of dog, a big dog, and so every time I would put my finger closer in, then I was able to release just a little bit of the skin that was hanging into the mouth of my dog, peeling it off from the teeth and thereby giving a little bit more room. And that way I worked my way until the molars of my dog. And he was looking at me, what a dumb boss of you. I have him and now you obstructing me. And I was able to peel him off, I think, about 2 or 3 minutes. And mind you, these minutes were quite stressful, especially for the dog. But he was so relaxed, and why were they so stressful? The owner eventually came, and only when the owner was there I was able to, of course, let the owner try to hold his dog, but also control my dog and peel him away. But the owner said he would kick and stop kicking and even killing my dog if he would not release, and he kicked him several times in the ribs. And the only thing that happened is SAMSON closed his eyes and kept hold and even shook harder than before. So not a noise, just as a young puppy, he kept holding on. And then when I entered his mouth, even though the owner was still yelling and doing the things, but after a while the owner found out that I was able to really release him. And I also got a little bit of help because of the noises and the shouting of the owner especially, and the dog yelping of him. Other people were attracted, and the other person that was attracted was another Staffordshire Bull Terrier owner that I saw on the forum but never met in person. I didn't know that she was living there, but just coincidence. She was also very relaxed and relaxed the owner to just let me do my thing and not interfere. Otherwise, I also told the owner of the other dog, if he would keep kicking my dog, I would not separate them, of course, because I'm not going to let my dog being mistreated just to save another one's dog, while his dog was a stray dog attacking us. So that was that. Very interesting time. And then I found out he was so extremely careful with us. I found this out before when we did the play ragdoll type of thing, and he really would not let go, but once my fingers would go close to his mouth, he would let go. So when playing with rags and tug of war, which is also a very nice thing to do, of course, with your dog, I already found out that he really did not want to hurt me. And even if you had a stick and he would jump in and try to catch it, even if he just touched your hand, he would look, okay, I did something really wrong, but he would be very hard on the stick, very hard on the tug of war. So that gave me the confidence to just try this instead of breaking it open with something that is not as useful as a breaking stick. So you could use, for example, a screwdriver or something like that, but that would probably damage the teeth a lot, which I did not like, and also the jaw perhaps. So I did not have a screwdriver at me. I asked for a breaking stick, that was not there, also not with the Staffordshire owner. But they just said the other thing that I could have done, and I did not do, it would be better perhaps, especially if you don't know for sure what I thought I did know, is to choke the dog out. So if you compromise the blood flow, the grip will eventually fade, the dog will go knockout. That's the way to do it. Of course, it's not a good way, but you can do it that way as well. But I did not. I did it as I told you. I just pried it bit by bit by inserting my finger in a dangerous place of the dog. I would never recommend that, but just a story to be told, and also a nice anecdote to tell. So another anecdote is that there were many more. Another anecdote was that there was an owner in the park that had a dog, a French bulldog, and really big chains and spikes around his neck. And he called him Bullet, Bullet this, Bullet that. And that you often find that people that want to have a tough dog and give him a tough name like Bullet, Stiletto, Killer, etc. But my dog was named Sammy, of course. So he said Bullet this, Bullet that. And the dog was growling and all the other stuff. But then when he approached my little pup, and he was showing him some of his culture, he was scared. And then he said, "What's the name of your dog?" And I said, jokingly, of course, "Oh, your name is called Bullet. My dog is called Bulletproof." Just a joke, of course. But there were also some people in the park who were a little bit different. They had, for example, Great Dane, and also wanted to scare people. I don't know if it was a pure Great Dane, but that Great Dane is also because he was quite a small guy, and the Great Dane was quite aggressive and already attacked a few animals in the park. And he also let his dog loose towards my dog, and then I said, "Yeah, just put your dog on a leash." And then he said, "No, your dog, if your dog just goes goes lying on his back, he will accept this. And of course, I would not, because my dog would also not wane from his dog. And I knew that he already attacked other dogs, so I said, if you do not leash your dog, I will also unleash my dog. Yeah, that's fine. Let them work it out. And his dog attacked my dog. And then I let my dog loose. And so that way the Dane put some damage on my dog, of course. But it was only like 10 seconds. And after that, my dog was also starting to work his dog. And the Great Dane started to feel pain and tried to get away. But he would not get away because my dog was on him. And he worked his legs. This time it was not the throat like it was with the lurcher, but he worked the legs. And the Great Dane, when I did release them with a breaking stick, I didn't have a breaking stick at me at that moment because he was a little bit older, and I already knew the Great Dane was walking very funny, almost not walking at all. And the owner told me later that he had fractured the legs. So that little dog of mine had fractured the legs of that very tough Great Dane that he had. And he didn't like that dog, and he asked me if he could get a dog sired by my dog, and which of course I would never do, because the dog, Great Dane, also suffered a tremendous injury because the owner is irresponsible, and that's giving the breed and other breeds a bad name, which I don't like, of course. So that's a story. Also, when my dog was a pup, a very young pup, he already got attacked quite some times by shepherd dogs, and he got a resentment of shepherd dogs from that time. So the Irish Staffordshire Bull Terrier did, and the shepherd dog just attacked him, even though he was a pup. And that owner found it all cool, and he said, "Yeah, my dog is such a dominant dog, etc., etc." But after a while, he said, "Yeah, if they just be the beta, then it will all be fine." But after a while, there were coming yelps. And then my dog was 10 months old, and I already knew what he could do. And he again attacked my dog. And there were some yelps, and then he said, "See, finally your little pup learns his place, and he's yelping out for mercy." I said to that guy, "Perhaps you should look again, because it's not my dog that's yelping." And it was his very big shepherd. And at the age of 10 and a half months, that he already had that engagement with the other dog, and now he was 10 and a half months, and also worked the shepherd. That shepherd owner never ever let his dog loose anymore in the vicinity of my dog. So I really don't like this type of owners that don't take responsibility, that think because they have the bigger dog that they can inflict fear or dominance, and then those little dogs will show them. So that was that. Also, there was an incident with when I walked my dog late at night, and there was a teenager, and they had a band dog and a bull terrier, English bull terrier, the normal type, not the dwarf type, not the mini type. The miniature bull terrier it was not. It was a very big one, but it was also extremely fat. They really fattened it up. I think they gave that band dog, which is a cross between pit bull terrier and mastiff. I thought it was a Mastino Napoletano at the mother's side and the American pit bull terrier at the father's side. And that English bull terrier the same amount of feed. So he was extremely fat and heavy. And what happened? Those children, teenagers I think, 15, 16 years old, were a little bit up to no good, and they liked the tough dog image. But they were not looking for a conflict. But what happened? They had a leash like this, a leather leash, and that leather leash broke because their dogs wanted to get close to mine, So it was not the fault at that time of the owners that the leash broke, but it did. It broke at the bandog side. It was a leather leash, so the coupling point was of leather. And then, I think they reacted, but they also let, that was a big fault, also let the other dog slip. So the very heavy bull terrier. And what happened then was not so nice for my dog, because we engaged with the bandog. The bandog was so much bigger and higher, and they had an understanding with each other. So exchanging damage, both. My dog was on the leash, his dog was loose and attacked mine. But then also came the bull terrier and worked him from the back and the bottom. So he was two-dogged by two heavy dogs. And that was not a nice moment. The thing is, my dog worked his way well and fought them both in a good way, and we were able to break them up, I think, in a minute or 6 or 7. Why so long, you might ask? Well, I was able to break, for example, the bandog and my dog using my breaking stick. But then the other dog and those teenagers were so in panic, two boys, that they were not of much help. So once I told them, for example, to keep the bandog away and leash him again, the other dog would still be have to be separated from my dog and my dog from him. But then again, the bandog would be slipping loose. Of course, the bandog is very strong and very big, but I asked them to tie him on a tree or on a fence, and they did not. So that took me a while in and out. So sometimes I had to separate it, and then I only had to separate the other dog from my dog and my dog again from that dog. But then the other one came in again, so it was not so nice. A lot of damage was exchanged to all 3 dogs. But the thing was, at the end, the other dogs were limping and also yelping from pain. But my dog did not at all. And then you might say, did not he get any damage? It was a funny thing, because he received a lot of damage. Also his paws were worked, especially by that bull terrier. And I tried to get the bandog off him first, because I thought the bigger one would get the most damage in. So I think the bull terrier gave at least as much damage to my dog as the bandog did, because he had a lot more time working my dog. But when we walked a little bit further and we were out of the view, because he kept lunging in the line to be ready to re-engage with the other dogs, and also the other dogs, especially bull terrier, was screaming his lungs out doing re-engage. But once we went around the block, I saw his walk changing and he was limping. He was also shaking at that moment. So the funny thing is, as long as the stimulus was there, the other dogs, he did not see anything at the BSL's SAMSON dog. But once they were away, and perhaps his adrenaline would lower a little bit, he also saw that he was damaged, and he showed it a little bit. And even then, when he was limping, and he would see another dog on the other days, the days after, he was still recuperating, of course. He saw that this walk would change. Also when he had glass in his feet or something else was happening, sometimes you saw that he would put a little bit less pressure on his leg, but not if other dogs were around, other male dogs. So that's a funny thing. And also with female dogs, because the funny thing is that with male dogs he wanted to engage, and with female dogs he wanted to engage in a different way, romantically, so to say. So those are a few of the stories. I will top it off with the last one, and there are many more to be told, but I won't. I'll top it off with the last one, which was a shepherd in our block that slipped away through the gates and attacked my dog. And this was only like 10 seconds work. But even though my dog was leashed, he was able to damage the German Shepherd more and apparently he had ruptured or partially ruptured an artery in the neck of the dog. So the next day the shepherd did not came out of his how do you say this, dog bed, and they saw that his entire neck was swollen enormously, so they rushed him to the hospital. But they did not know the breed of dog that I had, and they asked, what kind of dog did this in like 5 or 10 seconds to your big German Shepherd? And they pointed to another white dog, because my dog was all white, being a Jack Russell. And the veterinarian thought this cannot be true. Yeah, it was quite a big a big Jack Russell. That must be one Jack Russell from hell, he said, to be able to rupture such a big area in the neck of that German Shepherd. And then they told me this story that they said, oh, that's a very big Jack Russell on steroids to me. I said, yeah, something like that. Okay, I hope you like this small anecdotes of a very nice dog. I shared you anecdotes of him engaging with other dogs that were not planned, of course, and just something to give you a little bit of trigger, because of working breed that has been bred for more of a combat or interaction with other predators, or other dogs. Type of dog, of course, is different type of responsibility than is a dog that's bred for show purposes and just to be sitting around and interacting. But you would always know for my dog what he would do. With females he would be the gentlest dog ever, even females that pulled his throat and punctured his skin. Even Staffordshire Bull Terriers, females that were very aggressive against him, he would never do a bad thing. And the funny thing is, because of his charm, even those battle-ready Staffordshire Bull Terriers would warm up to his charm and let him be romantic with them, so to say. And with males he would be very engaging, so very dominant, and sometimes even not so much reacting, because they are a smart type of dogs. If they know that you will limit them, he would be very relaxed and just sniffing around. But once he would get into reach, like 2 meters between him and the dog, he would go full out to try to get the other male dog. But if the male was old, very old, he would just be relaxed with it. Also with pups, he will be relaxed with it. And a pup could be with another type of dog of same lineage, for example an Irish Staffordshire Bull Terrier, that could be up to 1 year, but that you would be relaxed with it. But it could be if you have a giant breed, like a Leonberger, for example, which only mature after 2.5 years, that you would have a dog, a Leonberger male, very big, and also trying to be dominant, that he would be cut his slack till age of 2.5 when he was fully mature. So that's an interesting fact to show you. He was also very gentle with pups, extremely gentle with humans. As I also mentioned, even though he would really like to finish the battle with another canine male, but he would rather get additional damage to himself and release this grip than hurt us. And that is a funny tale of a legendary dog that I dearly miss. I love these dogs that I have here, but they are different and not worse. They are of course not worse. They are also very excellent dogs, but this is a story about my Spartan loss, SAMSON. Have a great day.